Welcome. We are solving problems on coplanar and concurrent forces. Please read the problem. A gusset plate of a roof truss is subjected to forces as shown in the figure. Determine the magnitude of the resultant force and its orientation when measured counterclockwise from positive x-axis. So, students, you must have seen truss. You must have seen truss, which is an arrangement to support a roof structure, and the roofs you must have seen them in stadiums, huge roofs, and they are supported by some arrangement at the top that is called as truss. So here we have 5 members of the truss, and they are subjected to different forces. You want to find out their resultant. You can immediately sense that this is concurrent force, coplanar and concurrent forces. They are passing through the origin. Their directions are given. Their the angles which they make with the x-axis, that's also given. You are asked to find out the resultant, and the orientation of the resultant has to be in a particular way. That means it has to be measured in a particular way. It has to be measured from positive x-axis in counterclockwise manner. So our first thing is to find out the magnitude of the resultant, and we should be able to find out in which quadrant it lies. So let's do that, and our usual way is to find out sigma fx and sigma fy. So let me find out sigma fx. So what is sigma fx? It's resolution of all the forces in horizontal direction. Let's start with 180. It's already in horizontal direction, and it's pointing towards right. Look at this arrowhead, so which means it is positive. So this is 180. Come to this force pointing toward the origin. When you resolve, resolution means it's that magnitude into cos of the angle which that force makes with the x-axis, and the x-axis here is positive x-axis in this quadrant, and the angle is 45. So 180 cos 45 is going to be the magnitude of the horizontal component, but the direction will be given by this arrowhead, and when you resolve it, it's towards left, so it's negative 180 cos 45. This is 240 vertical, will have no bearing on horizontal component, will not have horizontal component. 160, resolve it horizontally, it is 160 cos 45. Again, look at this arrowhead. When you resolve, it's going to be towards positive, so that's going to be plus 160 cos 45, and this 200 is towards left horizontally, so it's minus, so minus 200. So this is sigma fx, and sigma fy, resolve them. So 180 will have no vertical component, it's horizontal. 180 newtons this force, it will be sine of the angle which this force makes with x-axis. So 180 sine 45, and that will be vertical component. And look at this arrowhead, it's pointing towards the origin. So when you resolve it, it's going to be downward. So it is minus 180 sine 45. 240 is upward along vertical, so it's plus 240. This force 160 sine 45 will be the vertical component, right? And look at the arrowhead, it's towards origin. When you resolve it vertically, it will be pointing downwards. So it is minus 160 sine 45. Minus 160 sine 45. So these are the forces. And is there any other force we have left out? We have not. So 200 is the force, it's already in horizontal direction, so which will have no vertical component, right? So we have 1, 2 and 3 forces, right? So these are the forces, and that they are going to make the resultant. So now let's find out sigma fx. So I'll just directly write down the value. Sigma fx is minus 34.142 Newton, and sigma fy is 0.41, and this is also minus minus 0.416 Newton. So what do you know from this? So now both these horizontal and vertical components are negative, meaning what? The resultant is going to lie in fourth quadrant. So resultant will be somewhere here, right? So now you want to find out the angle, right? So angle can be found out by sigma Fy upon sigma Fx. That is going to be tan theta, right? And theta is the angle which the force makes with the x-axis. Now this is in fourth quadrant, so it's negative x-axis. So find out sigma Fy, sigma Fx, tan inverse of that gives you angle. And if you do that, I'm skipping over that. If you do that, right, that means essentially theta is going to be tan inverse of sigma Fy upon sigma Fx. And if you do that, this is 0.7 degrees. 0.7 degrees, okay? But you want to represent that. So how will you represent that? Because it's already in fourth quadrant, so you can draw a line, and of course we want to find out the magnitude also. So you find out the magnitude r, which is under root sigma Fx square plus sigma Fy square, and this value of r is 34.145 newtons, right? 34.145 newtons. So this is r. So find out, this is angle 0.7 degree, which the resultant makes with the horizontal. So you draw a line making an angle 0.7 degrees. So this is your r, and this is 0.7 degrees. Now when you write the answer of the orientation, so r is, you can write straight away 34.145, but when you write the answer of theta, the orientation, you should consider you are going to measure from here, positive x-axis. So this is 180 plus 0.7. So your answer is going to be 180 plus 0.7, 180.7. That should be the answer for the orientation. Thank you.